Notice the pause before they send the message. They've typed it, read it 3 times, deleted 2 words, added them back, read it again. Not because the message is complicated, because they're running a quiet calculation. Is this going to make them tired of me? Will the person on the other end feel obligated? Will replying to this feel like work? They rewrite it to sound less emotional. They add a sorry at the beginning. Delete it because it sounds desperate. Send it without the sorry, but spend the next 40 minutes wondering if they should have. Even their authenticity is edited. This is not anxiety about what they said. It's something older, quieter, something most people can't name. Some people don't feel unwanted. They feel like a burden. There is a belief that lives beneath all of it. Not a thought they consciously choose. A conclusion the body arrived at long before the mind could question it. And it sounds, in its purest form, like this. My existence makes things harder for others. Not, I'm not good enough. Not, I don't deserve love. Those are the versions people recognize. This one is more specific, more relentless. I take up too much space. In a conversation, in a room, in someone's schedule, people tolerate me. They don't actually want me there. And somewhere beneath even that, the thing they would never say out loud. If I disappeared, things would get easier for everyone. Not in a dramatic way, in a practical one. This is not low self-esteem in the conventional sense. People mistake it for that and offer the wrong kind of help. This is something different. It is internalized guilt for existing, a sense that simply being present is already an imposition. Where does something like that come from? Not from a single wound, from a pattern, from a childhood where love had conditions attached to it, where warmth arrived when you were easy, manageable, not too much, where you learned, without anyone ever saying it, that being difficult cost you something. Or from the quieter version of neglect. Not abuse, not cruelty, just a consistent emotional absence. A moment where they needed comfort and were met with irritation instead. A look that said, not now, enough times that they stopped trying altogether. Some were told, directly or through tone, that they were too sensitive, too needy, too much. Others were handed the opposite burden, being the strong one, the capable one, the child who didn't need anything, so the adults could manage their own lives. Both paths lead to the same conclusion. A person who learned that their needs were a problem. Watch what this looks like in a person. They apologize constantly for things that don't require apology, for existing in someone's path, for asking a question that might take 2 minutes to answer. They avoid asking for help even when they're drowning, because asking is an admission, and admissions feel like evidence. They overthink every message. They wait before replying so they don't seem too eager. They rewrite what they actually feel into something smaller, safer, easier to receive. Then they send the edited version and call it honesty. When they open up, when they let something real slip through, there's a window, usually brief, before they pull back. Start minimizing. Laugh it off. Say, forget it, it's not a big deal. Because vulnerability is terrifying when you've learned that what's inside you is too much. They leave conversations early. They cancel plans and feel, in the same breath, relieved and lonely. They don't wait to be rejected. They pre-reject themselves. Inside, it runs like a low-grade current. In any conversation of significance, there is a part of them monitoring, counting, measuring. Have I taken too much time? Said too many things? Made this about me for too long? There is guilt after talking too much, a heaviness after crying in front of someone, a replay at 2 a.m. of everything they said and what the other person's expression was when they said it. They don't just feel like a burden when things go wrong. They feel like one even when things are fine. Even when nothing is wrong, they feel like something about them is. Even in safe moments, in laughter, in warmth, in the middle of a good evening, something in them is quietly waiting to become too much, waiting for the moment the other person realizes. The comfort never fully lands because some part of them is braced for the withdrawal they're certain is coming. They carry conversations the way some people carry debt, always calculating what they owe. Here is where it turns. The more they try not to be a burden, the more they suppress. The more they suppress, the harder it is for anyone to reach them. They become someone who is there, but not quite fully present. Easy to be around, impossible to love deeply. And the cruelest part is this: they are trying so hard not to push people away. And in doing so, quietly, incrementally, they create exactly the distance they fear. They unintentionally build what they were trying to prevent. When someone tells them you're not a burden, it doesn't land the way it's meant to. Not because they don't want to believe it. They want to desperately. But the belief they're carrying isn't logical. It didn't come from one conversation that could be corrected by another. It was learned through repetition, through pattern, through years of accumulated evidence that the body still accepts as truth, even when the mind tries to argue. Reassurance feels temporary. The belief feels permanent. A single sentence cannot undo what a childhood built. The cost of this is not always visible. They carry everything alone, every hard thing, every fear, every moment where they needed someone and talked themselves out of reaching. They never feel fully known, because being fully known requires being fully seen, and they've made a practice of making themselves smaller before anyone can decide they're too much. The people who care about them are kept at a careful distance, not out of cruelty, out of protection. For everyone, they think. But here is what that costs them. The people who would have stayed were never given the chance to. Their silence becomes the real burden, not on others, on them. There is no clean resolution to offer here. No reframe, no habit, no morning ritual that dissolves what years carefully assembled. But there is this. You didn't become a burden. You adapted to a place that made you feel like one. That is a different thing entirely. Adaptations are learned responses to environments that couldn't hold you. They are not truths about who you are. They are strategies you built to survive somewhere that couldn't accommodate the full weight of you. Having needs is not a flaw. It is the most human thing there is. And what was learned to survive can be unlearned when you're finally safe enough to exist.